Hey guys, welcome to our channel. So we're decoding Stouffer's stovetop, craft stovetop. I decided to do this a little bit differently. We ran our laboratories, our new category first. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to find out what the laboratory was that was studying this fever of unknown origin that's coming up in every search. And I'm going to tell you it wasn't easy. It gave me everything but what I wanted to know. Pretty much, but I found it. I figured it out. I figured out who's studying it right currently. Um, so Stouffer's the craft. You have T is still in craft. You cross it off. F is still in craft. So you cross one of the F's and Stouffer's off. And R is still in craft, so you cross it off. And what you're left with is SOU ESKA. So you bring SOUFESKA down. That's your code. We're going to run it forwards and backwards. We've got this to go through, by the way, we've got this to go through stock market, genetics, medical, um, chemical, and also finance. And now we're in laboratories. So if you start with SOU, you get Southern Oregon University Research Labs. No real shock. OU ends up being Oklahoma University Laboratories that deals with medical. And there's more Oklahoma University labs, but the medical one is the most interesting to me. UF is University of Florida Pathology Laboratories. So these universities have similar programs, and I think they're being calculated by this hospital down here. All right. Um, but we're going to move on, and we'll get down to that. FE then ends up being Clinical Lab 2.0, a Project Santa Fe report. So there's a Santa Fe lab, clinical lab. If you move on from that, you have FES, which ends up being FES laboratory, and that deals with environment and energy. SKA ends up being SKA AVN MAPPP 9 development lab. And SK, the last two letters going forward, well, not the last two, but we did SKA, then we did SK now. SK Laboratories Incorporated, and they deal with nutritional supplements. And KA didn't really have anything interesting as far as I was concerned, so I didn't include it. But we did SKA, which was the last three letters, so that gets you through going forwards. All right, now we're going to come back, and AK ends up being AK Labs, but more interesting to me, AK Labs and AK Laboratories, two different laboratories. But more interesting to me was AK is Alaska State Public Health Laboratory, and there are several. Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, a lot of them, but you got medical labs in Alaska. You got Forestry Sciences Laboratory, like the environmental stuff, so all sorts of laboratory stuff in Alaska. Now, Alaska hadn't come up yet. We've ran AK. Alaska Medical Lab Services, LLC. Advantage Medical Laboratory. So, that's all in Alaska. So, you got some Alaska stuff there. And medical stuff. Imagine that. But if you move on from that, you have AKS, which ends up being AKS Laboratories, and they deal with business software. I'll provide these links, guys, if you want to check them out. And AKS, that's what I said. AKS is AKS Laboratories. They deal with business software. Sorry. Then SEF ends up being Sub-Element Facility, SEF Federal Labs. Federal Labs. All right, if you move on from that, you get SE, which ends up being SE laboratories. Then you take FUO, and that ends up being fever of unknown origin lab studies. And they had all sorts of lab studies. And when I tried to specifically find out what lab was studying it, it was very unspecific. Very, very brutally unspecific, no matter what I typed. But I finally found something, and it took, even after I found it, um, it took me a while to pin down the hospital. But I did, and the people that are apparently studying this right now, and have cases of it and all that, um, is Teteri Care Hospital in Odisha, India. Teteri Care Hospital in Odisha, India. So that is our number one suspect right now for having run the quantum computer to make this calculation. Fever of unknown origin has been in everything. What we had to do was find out why, who's studying that, why are they studying it? Well, they're studying it because they have several patients apparently. And this did change a long time ago, but everything happens at once. So, for the best I can figure right now, these are the people I'm looking at. All right, so if you move on from that, you have University of Oregon Labs, and that's UO. You have UOS, which ends up being University of Sharjah Central Laboratories, and OS ends up being Operating Systems Laboratory. And that gets you through going forwards and backwards in laboratories, and now we know that fever of unknown origin lab studies, that's what we had going on for this, but now we know Teteri Care Hospital in India, Odisha, India, is definitely looking at fever of unknown origin. They got cases and they're studying it. And so they're our number one suspects because it's there every time. And with that would be those guys right now. So that's what we're looking at. And it was difficult to find. It wasn't easy. Oh boy, it wasn't easy. I had to use several different search engines and type it in several different ways. It's like it didn't want me to know what hospital that was. But I figured it out. It took me a while. So we'll keep an eye on them. And next we'll do, I'm thinking research groups. And I'm not so sure if you won't get some of the same stuff, but you might not. I'm not sure how that works. If we ever did a laboratory category, it's been 2 years or more. Because I've been thinking we had either talked about doing one or maybe tried to run one once. But yeah, we'll do research groups next, then technology, and then random hits, and then we'll get translations out of it. So that'll all be coming up, probably not today. But all right, I think that covers it. I think that sums it up. So, and that's why I wanted to get that Guns N' Roses thing out of my way and didn't show my work, because I didn't want that eating at my brain while I tried to concentrate on this, because this was tricky. So, for now, guys, thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down when appropriate. Thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, and subscriptions. And thanks for watching, guys. And for now, you guys have a great rest of your day.